Hi, Laura. I just wanted to thank you for coming in to see me again this week. For this session, I first want to just check in with you and see kind of how you've been doing since we last met. Just kind of do a brief mood check. I saw for your homework last session, I had you fill out the Beck Depression Inventory. And just based on your responses that you recorded, it seems like you've been feeling a little bit depressed. And I was wondering if you could tell me more about that.
Yeah, I have. I've been feeling depressed, tired, a little bit unmotivated. I just can't seem to find the the motivation to get up out of bed and go to work, and I just feel still very overwhelmed with the situation with my dad,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of just makes me feel like a disappointment.
Why do you feel like a disappointment?
Because I just can't stay on top of my work, and I can't seem to solve the situation with my dad. That's also frustrating.
Yeah. When you're talking about work, do you have any like deadlines coming up? Any pressing things that are making you more stressed?
Yeah, I have a bunch of clients. I have 3 retainer clients, and I just can't seem to find the motivation I used to have in my normal schedule to just kind of get up and do what I need to do.
Okay. With that being said, I think it would be good if we kind of set up an agenda for this session and kind of plan out what we want to talk about priority wise. But I want to get a little update as far as any other issues that have come up since I've seen you last. I know when you first came in, you did mention that your father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's and how that's been really stressful for you. Since then, have you noticed any other changes or any other issues that you feel like we should talk about?
Yeah, because I'm going through all this, it's been kind of hard for me to relate to my friends normally.
Mm-hmm.
So it's caused kind of a rift. I haven't been going out and spending time with them.
Okay, so you're not socializing as much.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can definitely add that to our agenda for today's session. And what I kind of want to address first is I guess we can plan out the agenda and see what we want to talk about first. And I think the main thing here is kind of these thoughts that are kind of clouding your mind and making you feel kind of lethargic and just not yourself, and like you don't want to socialize. You can't really concentrate on what you used to be able to concentrate as far as work. And so I just wanted to briefly talk about like the cognitive model with you and these thoughts. And so these thoughts are called automatic thoughts. And what they are is they actually influence our emotions, which then in turn influence our actions or our behaviors. So, for example, with you, you have these automatic thoughts that are saying, I can't handle this. I'm a disappointment. My friends don't want to hang out with me, whatever it may be. But what emotions does that make you feel? Do you feel sad when you...
Yeah.
Okay. And then with that, when we're sad, we don't really want to get out of bed. We don't want to go do something that we feel like won't help us feel better.
Right.
So I think a good thing for us to work on this session is establishing some coping skills for you and some tools that you can use to help you cope with these thoughts.
Yeah, that would be good, because when she called me, my friend, for dinner, she asked me to come out, and I told her that I already had plans, and I didn't.
Oh,
I
okay.
just stayed home and I slept, and that's not healthy. I don't want to make my friends feel like I don't want to be around them. I don't want to get caught in a lie. I just don't feel like I can socialize and be normal. Like, I know they'll know something's wrong.
Right.
I don't want to put that on them, too.
You don't want to be like a buzzkill
Right.
or whatever when you're out with them. Okay. What I really like to use is what we call coping cards, and they're really simple to make, and they're just index cards, so you can carry them in your purse, your wallet, whatever. And I want to make them surrounding the thoughts that you've just explained to me during this session.
Okay.
And I'll help you with the first one, and then I'll kind of guide you to make a second one.
Yeah.
So one thing that I think we should address is probably the, I can't handle this idea, as far as your dad goes. So what I'm going to write at the top of this card is I'm going to first write the automatic thought that you feel, and then I'm going to write the accurate thought that we just reconstructed, okay? So I'll show you how it goes. So, I can't handle this. All right, so then let's look at this in another way. You mentioned in our first session that you help your dad frequently doing brain activities and doing certain games, and it seems like that's been, pretty helpful for him, at least keeping things at bay.
Yeah.
And so why don't we look at this a little different and see that you have been managing it. It's just you're overwhelmed right now. So a way we can word this is, how about I can manage this. I am just overwhelmed. And I'm going to practice breathing exercises. And do the brain games with my dad. Okay, so that's an example of kind of how we can restructure our thoughts to kind of show it, display it in a more accurate way. So it's kind of more manageable for you. So when you just at face value, if you look at this thought, I can't handle this, versus this one that kind of breaks it down more for you, do you feel as overwhelmed seeing the second thought?
No.
Makes it a little more manageable for you?
Yeah.
Okay. So that'll be one of your coping cards, and then I want you to make one, and I want us to address the thought that you're a disappointment because you're behind on your work projects. So for the top, you can just put, I'm a disappointment. And here I'm going to try to talk you through this thought to look at it in a different way.
Okay.
So whenever you're finished writing that, you can just let me know. Okay. So I want you to think back on, because you've had this business for a couple years now. So you've been stressed before with projects. And have you had deadlines before that you had to meet and you were worried about not meeting them? But you did end up getting them finished on time, right?
Right.
So why don't you write that down, that you can meet this deadline and you will sit down and take the time to work on it, and you're just overwhelmed. And these are, so those are examples of coping cards.
Okay.
And when, for part of your homework, I kind of want to set a plan for you.
Yeah.
I want you to definitely read these cards as these feelings come up, because it seems like these are big trends that you've been feeling.
So do I write them ahead of time, or do I make them like when I feel it?
I would write down the thought that you're having. So I would write down your negative thought on the card when you have it. And then I want you to sit, and you can, if you feel like you can concentrate on that task, then try to break it down in your mind and make it a little more realistic for you.
Okay.
Because I know when you're feeling emotions, it's hard to do that.
Right.
But I think you'll find that your anxiety levels will go down once you do this.
Okay.
Okay, so
Right.
that, I want you to do that, and if you have any more different types of thoughts that come up, if you don't really know how to make the cards, just write those down and we'll talk about them on our next session. And we can
Conquer
make
it together.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm here for you, and this
Yeah.
is a partnership, so we're going to get through it together.
Cool.
So I want that to be your main homework assignment, and then I want to talk about your friend situation more in detail next session, because we are running low on time today. However, for your homework assignment, I want you to do a kind of behavior experiment, and I want you to call up that friend at least just once this week. I want you to call up the friend that wanted to get dinner with you, and I want you to invite her out to dinner.
Okay.
And I want you to, just kind of think about how you're feeling throughout the dinner, because I think once you're surrounded by people that used to make you happy, it might help bring back those good feelings.
Okay.
So do that and let me know how that goes.
Okay.
And then we can definitely talk about it in our next session and kind of address any other questions or concerns you may be having, or if you want to change anything, we can do that then as well.
Cool.
So just to summarize, I mean, today I think it's good that we have the coping cards going on, and I think you do you understand the homework assignment with everything?
Yeah.
All right. And do you have any questions
No.
for me or what to expect with anything?
No, I think that these exercises will be helpful. I think just like stopping and thinking about it for once instead
Mhm.
of letting myself be overwhelmed will be helpful.
Absolutely, and that's what these will be good for, is because it can kind of show you in writing,
Right.
like, you're gonna be okay. These thoughts are just temporary.
Right.
Okay. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You have my office phone number. So
Cool. Thank you.